Hi everybody, I'm JT. Welcome to another video from me here at Campervan Journey. Now this video is a follow-up to our last video called Time for a New Van, which loads of you watched, so I'm really grateful for that. But I promised in that video to give you our 3 contenders as to what were going to be our next van. After 2 years of looking, we'd managed to get a shortlist down to 3, albeit 3 with compromises. And I did say I was going to tell you what they all were. You probably guessed what they were, but I didn't tell you. So this video is just to confirm what after 5 years of California ownership, 3 vans were as a shortlist favourites. Now, before I tell you what the 3 were, I just wanted to reiterate the requirements that we had for the replacement for this van. The California has been brilliant, and if anything, it's made the job of choosing a replacement even more difficult, because it's been such a great all-rounder and has really set the bar very high for the sort of van that we've been looking for to replace it. And to be honest, I've probably been too particular about what we're after as the option to replace it. So really used to some of the equipment features on this van, particularly the LED headlights, which have been fantastic for nighttime drive, a real game changer if you've had a T5 or T6 with halogen lights. You'll know that's like driving with candles. The adaptive cruise control, the sensor of which is at the front. And just the general comfort and experience of living with what is a great vehicle. So we've got heated seats, we've got a remote control diesel heater, we've got an easy to use pop top, no electrics to worry about, the ability to carry 5 people in comfort. It's just suited us down to the ground as an all-round vehicle. And for those long trips that we've done in Europe over the last few years, we've created some great memories, which I've said it many times before, I know we wouldn't have made if we hadn't have been away and enjoying ourselves in the California. One of the other key things, and this is really quite important, was to find something that gave us comfortable rear travelling seats. So on the California, especially the California Beach, you've got a really comfortable rear bench setup, which is very similar to what you get in a car. And when we purchased it, we had 3 of our sons travelling in the back. It's now generally 2, possibly 1, but it's still important to have comfortable travelling seats. And one of the biggest stumbling blocks we often found when looking for a new van was the travelling seats at the back of them are rubbish. And again, I've commented on in videos in the past, and I've had lots of comments back from subscribers and viewers who do not get and do not understand why lots of manufacturers don't put in comfortable, more appropriate travelling seats for children. It just seems ridiculous that you've got a seat set up with effectively 2 boards at 90 degrees, a couple of cushions, velcroed on if you're lucky. I think it's unacceptable, really. So our challenge has been to try and find something which is as good to drive as this, has got the modern equipment that I've been used to that this has got, with the LED headlamps, the adaptive cruise, the heated seats, and the comfort and versatility for passengers as much as for Claire and myself up front as driver and main passenger. It's taken us 2 years to get there, and it's taken us 2 years to get a shortlist together. A shortlist which, interestingly, one of them we didn't drive. So what were they? Let's find out now. But before I do that, let's just have a few fond memories about this fantastic van behind us. Okay, so contender number one. Well, it's logical, it's pretty unsurprising, but it was always going to be the Grand California. We test drove the Grand California a year ago and then rented one from our friends down at Breeze for a great trip that we had away in the Gower Peninsula. And if you haven't seen the video for that, I'll put a link up to it here. But we had an amazing adventure away, and that really enjoyed it, and had very, very high expectations and hopes that that was going to be our next van, to the extent where I'd spec'd up exactly what I wanted. I'd costed it all out. I'd had finance quotes, part exchange quotes, and I was almost at the point pressing the button to order one. Then I thought, hang on a minute, let's try one, let's drive one, and make sure that it's the right van for us. And I'm very, very glad I did, because it just answered a huge number of questions that we hadn't even thought of beforehand. So if there's a top tip in all of this, in this whole experience that we've had, as a viewer you're watching and you're thinking about doing the same with us, is if you get the opportunity to try one of these vehicles that you're looking to drive, looking to purchase, do it. If you're getting the opportunity to rent one, absolutely do it, because spending quality time with something is absolutely going to give you better information to make an informed decision. And we're very, very glad that we did that with the Grand California, because, as I said, we were about to order one before we took one away, and when we came back from taking one away, it wasn't such a clear-cut decision. We really enjoyed the experience of taking the Grand California away, and it was a great introduction to having a larger van than the California, and if anything, it's really firmed up our decision that we wanted to change to something that was going to give us a more integrated, I didn't say that earlier on when I was giving you the reasons why we were looking to change. Of course, in all the other things that we were thinking about, we want integration. I'm getting on a bit. I want to travel a bit further and stop for a little shorter. We don't want to take the tent anymore, so integrated bathroom, integrated kitchen, living space in all weathers is another thing that we were after. So sleeping versatility for 4 inside the van, comfortable travelling space for 4 inside the van, integrated bathroom stroke shower room, integrated kitchen, integrated fridge. Those are all other key requirements, so apologies if I missed telling you about those just now. So we took the Grand California away, and it was brilliant. Really, really enjoyed it. Had a great trip, great experience and great time. Really, really enjoyed it. It really affirmed our choice to change from this to something bigger. But there were some question marks about the layout, the quality of the finish, the equipment level, that just left us thinking perhaps we should look at a couple of other things. So we did. So what was option number 2? Well, one of our favourite brands, and if you've seen my videos or been following the channel for a while, and if you've been a subscriber for a long time, then thank you so much. If you're not a subscriber as yet, then please join up. There's still 60-70% of you who watch my videos who aren't subscribers, so you're all very welcome. Please hit the button to subscribe and join us. It'd be great to have you here. But if you've watched for a while, you'll know that I've really liked and got a real soft spot for Westfalia. Westfalia as a brand makes some great vans. They're great quality, they're really well engineered, and one of the things that really hooked us very early on was they've got a very, very clever rear travelling seat, which first of all is comfortable for 2 rear seat passengers. Secondly, is adjustable for angles, not a 90-degree angle for the passenger, so it's more comfortable. And thirdly, if you spec the right option, you can actually have it fold into a small bed, which was brilliant. An absolute fantastic piece of design that really we just thought, this is amazing, this is great. However, Westfalia limit the range of vehicles that they offer this seat on. It is only available on the Fiat Ducato based vans, which are wider than the Volkswagen or MAN based vans. We were looking for something bigger. We were looking for something that was ideally still German engineered. I didn't really fancy going to a Fiat-based van, which maybe is a bit snobby of me, a bit brand snobbery, but I've owned German products for years and years and years, and I've got a familiarity with the German engineering, reliability and quality that those products bring. And again, I'm quite happy for people to turn around and say that's brand snobbery not to consider the Fiat. I know there are hundreds of derivatives of camper vans based on the Fiats, but I just couldn't bring myself to opt for a Fiat-based van, which I thought was fine because Westfalia offer the MAN chassis and the Sven Hedin. So we thought, brilliant, we'll get a Sven Hedin. Sven Hedin is fantastic. It's a great piece of kit, and again, we fell in love with it after seeing it at more than one of the national shows at the NEC. But there's two big problems for us. Number one, that clever travelling seat is not an option. They don't fit it because the Crafter is narrower. There are no plans to provide that clever folding rear travelling seat. So you have a travelling seat which is perhaps better than some, but you can't turn it into the folding bed that you can on the Columbus and some of the other models. Also, they don't offer the Sven Hedin with a 4-berth option. There's no pop top, there's no roof extension. So it is, whilst a very nice van, a 2-person van. And that's no good for us at the moment. So at the moment, we still have the need or requirement to be able to travel as certainly a family of 3, potentially a family of 4. So the Sven Hedin was out straight away. The Columbus, whilst we loved it, spec a Columbus up with the options that we want, and I couldn't have some of the options that I was particularly keen to have. So the LED lights, adaptive cruise control were very difficult to get hold of because if at all possible, due to a shortage of components with Fiat. So there was going to be a compromise on equipment levels, compromise in my head because it was a Fiat brand, but also it's going to be a £95,000, almost close to £100,000 vehicle. The Columbus was still there as an option on our shortlist, despite those compromises if we couldn't settle on something else. So finally, what was option number 3? Well, if you saw the last video, time for a new van, if you didn't see it, there's a link here, then you probably got a pretty good idea. Well, you certainly would have got a good idea as to what the third option was. The Hymer Free S, it's a bit of a mouthful, the Hymer Free S Campus, based on the Mercedes Sprinter chassis that we went and saw a few weeks ago. So, the Mercedes brand obviously gives me the Germanness that I like, but more specifically, it is possible to specify the equipment that the driving equipment that I've been used to on this, so I can have LED headlights for the better nighttime driving. It comes as standard with the adaptive cruise control. We can have heated front seats, we can have climate control, we can have all of the things that we've been used to in this vehicle, which have been difficult to find on some of the other things. So the Sprinter chassis has them all. The Hymer interior and Hymer layout gives us the opportunity to have a 6-metre van, so short enough to fit on our driveway. A longer than 6-metre van is not an option, but it also comes with a pop top. So with the pop top, sleeping for 2 up top, obviously the sleeping for 2 downstairs. The rear travelling seats are not as good as some, it has to be said, but we test drove the van when we went to see it a few weeks ago, and having had a proper test drive, and Harry was with us and Claire as well, trying out the back, we decided that actually they were more comfortable. They were better than they looked, cutting a long story short. So they're not the best in the world, but they're a good sort of 7 out of 10. And in fact, we preferred them or found them more comfortable than the rear travelling seats in the Grand California. Have quite a sharp angle on, and they are quite narrow as well. So just a point there, if you're thinking about the Grand California and want to carry kids, just definitely try them back, because it's, especially if you're thinking about child seats, you're probably really only looking at being able to carry 3 people. We really like the test drive of the Sprinter, and that was the other thing that was really difficult to do as well. Just whilst I'm thinking about it, it was very, very tricky to find people who had vans in stock, but also who were happy to let you test drive something. Now, we all know that these vans are expensive. We're talking about typically £90,000 for some of these vehicles. Now, I've worked in the motor industry for a long, long time, and I was always taught that letting people test drive a vehicle, bums in seats sells cars. Now, you wouldn't believe the number of dealers that I've contacted to ask for test drives and how many of them have said no. Now, there's many, many businesses that have lost my custom because they wouldn't even consider offering us a test drive. Funnily enough, the businesses that did offer us a test drive are those businesses that have ended up on our shortlist. So, 3 vehicles, all 3 with merits, all 3 with compromises. There isn't a perfect one amongst them. There is a compromise with all of them, but one of them will be our winner. And the question is which one is it going to be? Now, many of you have probably got a good idea. Some of you I might have actually already told. But for those of you who don't know, there's a clue coming up here. And for those of you who still don't know, stay tuned to the channel because very, very soon we'll be introducing you to our new van. Apologise if this has been a bit of a ramble, but fundamentally it's taken us a long time to make a decision how to replace this Volkswagen California. We have loved this van, it's been brilliant, a fantastic addition to our family, and it's taken us to all sorts of amazing places, but the time is right to move on. It's going to be emotional moving on, but the time is right for our next van. So thanks very much indeed for watching. Please hit the button to like, please click the button to subscribe, and stay tuned to Campervan Journey, where we'll be introducing our next van very, very soon. Thanks for watching.